Well, hello, and thanks for tuning in. This is Aaron at Amiga on the Lake. We're starting a new video series, and the video series is called AmigaOne Tips and Tricks, and this is AmigaOne Tips and Tricks number 1. And this little short video is just titled "Read Your Documentation." That's what it's about. I'm going to breeze through these. These are just going to be quick little things. A new user or a user that's relatively new that doesn't understand everything, just keep watching them, keep reading, and keep learning. And again, read your documentation is a really important thing. So I'm going to iconify that. You can find your documentation drawer in your workbench partitions. So we'll open that up, and in here are the drawers. You're going to see the documentation drawer, and we'll extend this a little bit. Every folder or drawer in here is contains information about the topic of it, of course. And I'm going to show you one thing that I found. And again, the point of the video is to read. I'm just going to show you something. And someone mentioned to me, "Oh, you'd use depth to front," and I'm like, "What is depth to front?" And upon learning about it and checking out, I'm like, "Gee, this is pretty cool." It was here the whole time, and I didn't know about it until it was mentioned to me. So inside the documentation drawer are other drawers. They all contain information in them. We're going to focus on commodities just to show you the example of something kind of cool that I found. So I'm going to open up commodities, and depth to front is right here. This is what was mentioned to me. So I'm going to close the documentation drawer, and well, we're in commodities, so I think I should give just a brief description of what commodities are. And if you go to the Amiga Wiki and look under commodities, here's a definition. The commodities drawer contains small commodity programs, little applications which can add or modify features of Amiga OS in order to adjust its behavior to your liking. Examples include Exchange for controlling all commodities, Click to Front for viewing how windows are moved to the front of the view on screen, and Screen Blanker, which shows you a screen saver after a period of inactivity. So, Exchanger. Where is Exchanger? Well, again, we're just breezing through this pretty quickly. If you right-click in the background here, not in an active window, right-click, you'll see Exchanger. Okay. Exchanger lists available commodities. These are the commodities that are currently running. Now, by available, it means those that are actively being used. Okay, and this description I read says that the commodities drawer contains small commodities. Well, this doesn't. This is documentation. Where are commodities? Well, okay, in your workbench partition, open it up, and you are going to open up the drawer called Utilities. And in your Utilities drawer is another drawer called Commodities. Ah, here are your commodities. Now you notice there's more commodities than there are documentation written about each one, and that's quite okay. And there's commodities that aren't included that you can go out there and find that just do neat little things. So depth to front. Now I said these are available commodities. Well, how come depth to front isn't in there? Well, that's because if you double click this and if you watch, in fact, let me just put this right here and double click depth to front, and whoops. Okay, double click that and depth to front shows up. That's interesting. Now, when you click on these, you have active or remove. So let's click depth to front again. Let's just remove that. Pardon me, excuse me. Do you really want to quit the running commodity depth to front? Question mark. Well, yeah. It disappears. If you double click it again, it shows back up in the available commodities. Now, when you double click these, if I double click this again, it also disappears from the list. So you can remove it here, or you can double click it again, which means you have to go and open the drawers. When you right click, it's just easy to get to Exchanger really fast that way, and you can just inactivate any of these without having to open up any drawers. So let's make this active again. Depth to front. Okay, that's active. And I'm going to close the commodities drawer for now. So let's pull this down here. Well, depth of front. I was told to read about it, and so let's open up the documentation because after all, this is a video about the documentation. So depth of front. Okay. Function. Depth of front allows you to bring a window or a screen to the front by clicking the right mouse button over the window or screen's depth gadget. Okay, the depth gadget, just very quickly for people that are new, is right here, right on the end. That's a depth gadget, that's a depth gadget, that's a depth gadget, and the depth gadget for a screen, all these windows are open in the screen. This is called a workbench screen. So you pull the screen down, you don't see any other screens behind it, so this is the only screen that's active, and here is the depth gadget for the screen. Okay, these are for the windows, that's for the screen, and that's what he's referring to there when he says bring a window or a screen depth gadget, a window depth gadget. Okay, to bring a window or a screen to the front with depth to front, move the mouse pointer over the depth gadget of a window or a screen and click the right mouse button. A context menu will appear under the mouse pointer, showing the titles of all other windows on the current screen or the titles of all other screens currently open. Then select the menu item showing the window or screen you want to bring to the front. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. It looks like we've got... we've got the multi-viewer window open, we got the exchanger hotkey window open, we've got the commodities open, and we've got a workbench open. So, all right, I'm going to go to the depth gadget of the commodities drawer in documentation. And again, that's the depth gadget. And I'm going to, I have depth gadget is available commodity, so it's actually running. So I'm going to right-click over that depth gadget. All right, multi-viewer, exchanger hotkey, workbench, and untitled window, and I'll cover that. All right, well, I have the workbench. I'm going to release the mouse button on workbench. Okay, workbench. So as you can see, this is just a kind of a cool, handy little tool that helps you navigate what could be characterized as like an old school file system used on the Amiga. You know, you double click stuff and it opens up. You double click a drawer in there, and that opens up. But this drawer is still open. Depth gadget. Nope. Now we have a number of things running. Well, of course we do because we just opened a couple more windows. So let's just close those. And now, if you continue to read in here, it talks about tool types and all types of things like that. I'm not going to cover a lot of this. This is just a quick little thing to show you something that was kind of neat that I found. So, very quickly, I'm just going to show you two more little things here. Now we have two windows open. And go and right-click over the depth gadget here of commodities in the documentation drawer. And now I'm over this one, so it's not listing commodities because I'm actually clicking there. So that's not gonna add that to the list. But the exchanger, okay, well here's the exchanger here. Well, what is this untitled window? Well, pay attention to, and I'm holding the right mouse button down and not letting go, which makes me able to move the mouse pointer around. Workbench screen. Pay attention to workbench screen when I click untitled window. Xdoc. Well, what is Xdoc? Well, this is the Xdoc right here. So let me click on the screen again, and now it just basically has the title information for the screen. Right click again, untitled window. Well, let's play system of elimination here. Xdoc is currently forward, so let me right click and Xdoc. Okay, edit project. Let me close Xdoc and okay, I close it. Now let me right click in here and see what happened. Only the exchanger comes up because that's the only other window that's available. Let me double click on the RAM disk and let's go ahead and go to the RAM disk. We're going to go to the depth gadget. We're going to right click. Okay, starting to make sense, I'm sure. There's the exchanger. Let's go back to commodities, which, doesn't really make a lot of sense because, you could just go over there. But when you have multiple windows open, when you're going through and digging down and, you've got a bunch of stuff open. Let me find something here that has some more some more windows in there, and now you're kind of confused. The windows are layered. Gee, I want to get back to a particular window. Where the heck is it? Yeah, I want to go to the workbench screen. Boom. You don't have to dig around. So that's the purpose of this utility. It just makes handling a bunch of windows open a little bit more manageable and easy to get around. So let me close all these windows and get back to just some basic stuff here. Close the RAM disk. So we have the documentation open, and we have this. And again, these are available. Activate, disactivate, or remove. Now, AmigaOS 4.1 Final Edition. If you bought a new AmigaOne X5000 from us, there are certain commodities that are active or available every time. Now, if you activate depth to front and then you restart your computer and you go to a window, and of course this isn't going to show up, it's not going to work, and you're like, well, what's going on? And then you'll do some investigation. You'll go into the utilities folder and open up the right drawer for commodities, and you'll double click it. It'll show back up and it'll work, and you restart, and you have to repeat the whole process. Well, very quickly, and I'm just going to cover this very quickly. Go to Workbench partition, double click your preferences drawer, and what you're going to want to do is a WB startup. This is your Workbench startup preferences. Okay, and drag this down. Now you notice that depth to front is actually in here. So when your system starts up, it's going to add that. Now I deselect, and it is running right now. If I remove it, yes, I really want to remove that. Now it's not active. It's because that I put it in here. In other words, in Workbench Startup Preferences, it works every time. I don't have to go through that rigmarole where, gee, how come it doesn't work, and then go find it. Let me just remove it just to show you. The reason that it doesn't start up is because you didn't add it to the Workbench Startup Preferences. So if you like the commodity, if you try it out after watching this video and think, geez, that's pretty handy, that's pretty cool, and if it's something that you decide that you want to keep, I mean, you're never going to see it because it's invisible. It's running in the background. So if you don't ever use it, you're not going to know it's there. But if you say, hey, that's pretty handy, I like that, you just go ahead and click Add, and you're going to go to Volumes because Workbench, that's where it's located, and Utilities, of course, you remember that's where I found the Commodities drawer was in the Utilities drawer. So double-click Utilities, go to Commodities, and depth to front, there it is, and you click OK, depth to front, and save. Now, from that point onward, every time you boot your system up, you have depth to front available. So again, that was just a cool little thing that I found, and I thought, gee, that was there all along. I didn't even know it existed. Well, the reason I didn't know it existed is because I've never seen another person use it, and because I didn't read my documentation. So read your documentation, folks. You're going to find some cool stuff, and I hope this little video series is really helpful. We're doing them kind of quick. I'm not really doing this as quick as I had planned on it, but quick little videos to show you what's going on. So again, this video number 1, AmigaOne tips and tricks. Number 1, read your documentation. You never know what you're going to find. All kinds of cool stuff. Thanks for watching, folks, and hey, we'll see you soon.